Welcome back to Love What You Drive. The toolbox is out. Looks like we're about to do something today. The other day I looked under the car just to check the status of the sway bar that I installed, and when I looked at it, when I got under the car, here's what I saw. The sway bar looks good. I was just looking to see what's going on, what's not going on, and then I ran across this. I saw that the shock is wet and it's just leaking bad, as you can see. So today, that is what we're going to be working on. We are going to be switching out the rear shocks on the Mercury Grand Marquis. Okay, before we get into jacking up the car, taking off the wheels and disassembling the rear shocks, we have an unboxing to do. This is the all infamous or the all famous Rock Auto. They should sponsor people like us. I think half of YouTube runs off on Rock Auto parts. Anyways, we're gonna open it up and see what's in there. This just came in. Ah, come on, Rock Auto. Where's the magnet of the cars? Anyways, here they are. Not the cheapest ones, but I did not feel like paying, I think it was 67, almost 70 bucks per shock from Motorcraft. That's a little pricey for me for right now. I think these were around $20 or $22. I'll link everything in the description below. So this is the shock. I'm gonna be changing out both of them for equal wear on the car, even though the right passenger rear one is blown out. But here we have it, nothing special, just the shock, the bushings, and we're gonna go ahead and do a step-by-step of how to replace these. I see what they did there. So they sent two shocks. One, as you can see, is disassembled and the other one's kind of assembled. So when you get this pack of the rest of the stuff. And of course, before you do jack up the rear wheels and do anything, make sure you always chuck the front tires so it doesn't roll back. If your rear is coming up, chuck the front tires. If your front's coming up, chuck the rear tires. I'm gonna just loosen the wheels up.
Can I help?
You wanna help?
Yeah.
Sure. Size 21 lug nuts. There you go. Slowly push. Oh, stop. A little bit, go. Oh. Do the same on that side. So what I'm gonna attempt to do is just jack up the car by the rear axle. And the rear wheels are up. I'm gonna pick it up higher and we're gonna put jack stands. Can I take the wheel off? Okay. We can see the simplicity of this design. I mean, two bolts, one here, one there. I know the older Panther models, it's behind the subframe here. The shocks are way back there. But on this 06 and newer, it's a very straightforward design. And it looks like it's just a very basic swap. So what I'm gonna do is, I have the jack under here, and that's when it's gonna be time to jack it up, and just to help it support for the time being. Now for the bottom, This is a 15 millimeter. I'm gonna use this 15 millimeter. And for this side, the nut side, 18 millimeter socket. I'm gonna use an impact gun and just blast it off with the impact to save some time. Came off pretty easy. Okay, it's coming out. It's under pressure, so be careful. So I just jacked it up a little bit. Technically, I'm just gonna use a screwdriver and just pop this out. Okay, now this is the bottom. We're gonna move to the top. Okay, so now we're at the top, and this is the top bolt. So the top bolt is a 9/16
Where's Baba Pearl?
or a size 14. Now it's okay. It's a little bit rusty on here, so I'm gonna use some PB blaster penetrating oil. Just let it penetrate it a little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that on that side. There we go. You just hold the tube, if you hold it hard enough, and you can go ahead and pop that off. Okay, there's that. And then put this back, pop the bottom right again. There it goes. Okay, there's the shock. Okay, so the shock would go on like this. This will be the top mount. And then this will be on top of that, like so. So we're gonna take off this, take off the top. Now this is where I'm a little bit concerned. And this is why I'm concerned. Let me show you. So the new shock looks like this. And the old bushing, as you can see, it's this style. So what it would do is go on top of the shock, and then it would feed through the hole up here like that, and then come out on top of the bracket. Now the new rubber bushings, they don't have that, so this would just go like that and like that. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess we will just go ahead and replace the new hardware and the rubber the way it came. But for this, we're gonna go on the other side and remove the shock that was blown. So here we are on the other side. This is the passenger side. And when I take it off, I'll show you a closer look. You can see that down here it's leaking pretty badly. I went ahead and I blasted off the bottom bolt already. So here's the bolt. I sprayed some penetrant oil on top. We're gonna go ahead and do the same thing. You just hold this and it comes off pretty easy. This rubber piece on this side looks kind of mangled up. Gonna pop it out from down here. Okay, here we have it. Now you can see that the leak is down here, and oh yeah, it's completely busted. You can see that the bushing is all cracked up. I'm gonna take off these boots. Okay, before we put it back together, I just want to show you what it looks like here. Just go ahead and break these off. Okay, so this was the shock that was blown. And I want to show you what it looks like. Compared to the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and push it down. This is what it's doing. This is just one hand, very gentle. That's what it's doing. And then when I try to compress it with more force, it's very springy. You can see it's not doing anything. The other side, this is the driver's side. I'm gonna do the same thing. Oh, but this one's good. You see, look, it compresses all the way down and then it comes back up. So this is actually still pretty good, I would say. But this one, look at that. And then when you try to compress, it's just like a hard spring. So I'm not sure how long this one's been out, but good thing I looked under it, under the car, to see this. And now let's take a look at the new shock. So here we have the new shock. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this off. And you can see already it's coming out. What I'm noticing is that the original one, the one that was good, is a lot stiffer than the new one. The new one you could have put it down with one hand. This one, you can barely put it. I wonder if that's going to be too much of a difference. So we're going to go ahead and just put the new ones that I got, and we're going to drive around and see how they do. And if all else fails, if it's too soft or whatever, we'll just have to get some more heavy duty ones, or maybe go even with Motorcraft OEM part. Okay, so before I install the new shock absorber, I'm just gonna wipe it a little bit. There's all this grime and sand and rocks, so that the new rubber pieces will have a good solid clean contact. Because here in Jersey they salt and spray sand, and I don't want rubber pieces to go out too quick. Like that, and I'll put the new one on top. And put this down here. And we're just gonna loosely put the new nut on so that it just holds it in place. And now we're gonna move down to the bottom. A little dilemma, and with that, as you can see, it's a little bit too long, the new shock. And remove this, and I'm just gonna bang it out a little bit. Almost there. That's a tight fit. Okay, now we're gonna feed the bolt through. I'm gonna use this screwdriver to line it up first. This thing is fighting me a little bit. There we go. There it is. Okay. So that's in. Put up a little fight. Size 15 in the back, size 18 in the front. I'm just gonna tighten it up. Okay, that's nice and tight. Now we'll move on to the upper bolt. And this is up there already. I'm gonna go ahead and place the new rubber piece on top. Put the metal washer plate. And then the new hardware, which is a size 14 or a 9/16 wrench. Hold on, we have somebody here. That's my friend Greg. He's also a car guy. We'll include him in this video. On there pretty good. So I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. And this side is done. So that's what the new shock looks like. Now let's go install the other side. Okay, here we are on the other side. I'm just cleaning the area where the rubber bushings. And we have the same problem here, that it is a little bit too wide. Okay, yep, banged it out a little bit. I think it'll be good to go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and feed it through, or feed it in. Line it up, and gently we're going to tap it in. There it goes. That's it. Okay, and once again, 15 on the back end and 18 on the front end. Okay, now let's get out from there. We're going to go ahead and finish off with the top hardware. Okay, so this is what I noticed. So when you get these, this side has the smaller ring, as you can see, and this one has the bigger ring. So the bigger one will go up against the washer. The smaller one is made so it can fall in through in there, and that way it sits more flush, and it goes inside the bracket. Here's the driver's side, and it is complete. So that is how you change the rear shocks on the Panther 06, a newer, and 05 to I think 98, if I'm not mistaken, older. The shock is behind the frame, so it's a little tougher to get in there, but this is a pretty easy procedure. I just jacked it up behind the axle, lifted it up, couple jack stands on each side, dropped the old shock absorber, swapped in the new one, 2 bolts. Very easy, very simple. If I didn't have to film, the whole job would probably take me less than an hour. There was more prep work than actual work. So thank you for tuning in for another DIY video. You can do it yourself. Very simple, basic tools. All you really need is a size 14 open-end wrench for this one, a size 15 and a size 18 socket, a jack, 2 jack stands, and a little bit of time. Okay, here we go. This is the first initial drive with the new shocks installed in the rear. And I would have to say that this is probably the world's worst road. I mean, if you've never been in New Jersey and you never drove on these roads, oh, that is something to experience. But anyways, so now I'm driving and I'm just letting the rear do its own thing. Right off the bat, I do feel more tightness. I do feel less noise and hear it. Other than that, I don't think it's going to be a night and day difference. I think long term, as I drive and the new absorbers, the shocks settle in, they will definitely play a big part or a big role. But until then, I think it feels good. The boat drives like a boat as it cruises and floats on the waves. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing, commenting, and supporting the channel if you found this helpful. Now, before I go, I have these parts that are the original from the top mount of the shock. The original pieces, the rubber pieces that go in like so. And then the top mount plate like that and like that. Now, they're not in the brand new, you can't say best condition, but they are still pretty good. They're not cracked. This one's a little bit smashed, but it's not broken. There's no cracks anywhere. And I also have the stock Ford, I don't know if you can see the Ford Motorcraft USA. Both of these boots that I'm not gonna use on my on my new shocks. So if anyone wants them, in the comments below, you could go ahead and say that you want to take them. I know some guys are particular about every piece, every bolt, every nut to be original. I'm not gonna use these. So if you can use these on your Panther and your Mercury, Crown Vic, or maybe some other Ford projects that you have, these Ford Motorcraft originals, I'm willing to give these out for free. I'll pay for the shipping. I'll pay for just like, comment, share, but in the comment section, just say that you want them. First one that says they want them will get in contact through the email or through something, but we can definitely make a connection, and I will ship these out to you. They're still good. You'll just have to get some zip ties to put them on, and they're still pretty good condition. Ford Motorcraft original. And if you want these parts as well, like I said, I'll be more than happy to ship them out and give you this for free. And we'll see you in the next one.